Hi, how you doing? This is the super edit for my entry into the GGBO. Now, to set a scene, this is my previous guitar building experience. A wooden beam with a string, as well as this guitar, which accidentally became a fretless baritone. Now, onto the build. First, the design. I started drawing on the computer, but I wasn't really happy with what I was getting, so I took a break. Out in the March sun, when it hit me. Taking inspiration from my channel name, I decided to put a wolf on the guitar. Then I had to get wood, which didn't exist at my local hardware stores, so I ordered it online. I got these two pieces of not so black Corina and a slab of wenge for the fretboard. I decided to start on the neck with a truss rod channel, which didn't go so well as the first router bit decided to explode. So we continued with a Formula 1. Then it's on to cutting with a circular saw and some hand saws. Same for the fretboard, this time on the tiny table saw. Then cleaning things up and carving the headstock angle using a router. After a bit of tape, it's time for the glue up. Beautiful, isn't it? Then onto the body. I'm cutting out the general shape with the jigsaw, as I don't own a bandsaw. Once I'm done, it's time to clean it all up with the belt sander, and while we're at it, the headstock too. It's time to route out the neck pocket though, using some pieces of MDF as templates. And while I'm at it, also the control cavity. Lots of drilling here. And some cleanup with a chisel and then the router. We're going to have to cut the neck taper, but the tiny table saw is unfortunately out of commission, as the drill that used to power it melted its own motor mount. So, onto the big table saw, with which we first cut the angle into a scrap board, which we then used to guide the neck. I didn't get this process on video as it was already difficult enough without recording the entire thing. Then I'm finishing up the cuts with the handsaw. You can see that I cut a little too far. This will have to get filled later. More cleaning up with the hand plane, which I actually had to harden first. shaping the heel with the power plane. And then again the bell sander. Then we're drilling for the screws, as this is a bolt-on leg. First the holes in the body. These are the bigger holes for the inserts. Then it's time to put in the inserts, which went quite nicely with the ratchet. Then we copy the other holes and put the entire thing together. Now that I've double checked the center line, it's time to put on the tram bridge by carving the pocket for the block, for which I first drill 4 small holes in the body, which then get connected by bigger holes, before getting cleaned up with the router. Then it's time to widen the hole in the back, to make room for the tram block to swivel. And then route the spring pocket, which ended up being too long. GoToGood really provides some instructions on how to install the product correctly. Next come the pickups, which I'm using these 3 by Damasio, for which I'm routing 2 cavities. Now back to the headstock. I'm cutting off this triangle, which is going to get glued on. Once both parts have been soldered. Now it's getting glued up like this. And I'm making the 2 parts plain now before cutting out the shape I designed beforehand. And I'm refining everything with rasps and fines. Then it's onto the tuner holes, first with a small slot drill, and then with a larger drill, halfway from the top and the rest from the bottom. Now I'm onto shaping the leg. At this time I'm worried about a dark spot of softer wood, which I was uncovering at this point. It turned out to be of no concern though, after I carved through it fully, more in its own video though. Then it's time to sand the fretboard. Which is creating a lot of sawdust, which, come on, I'm gonna keep that. Then it's on to marking the correct places for the fret slots, which I first computed on the computer. Once they are marked, I'm starting to cut the first slot. But as you can see, the thread doesn't stick, because A, it's not curved, and B, my saw cuts too wide. So, curve the threads with this jig and flatten the saw. And what do you like at that? sanding. I'm hoping to polish them in the future, but I don't have the right tools now. Then cutting the ends off with a cut-off disc. Now back to the body. I'm carving it first with the power body, which is really quick at removing wood. Then I'm refining the shapes with the belt sander. Lots of sanding. And the same on the top. This went surprisingly well. Now I'm refining the shapes with rasps and files. And then I do all the other contours, rounding or beveling them with rasps and files. Then it's finally time for carving. I start with the ears. The back ear just needs to be relieved a bit. The front ear gets a depression. I'm not going for full realism here, as it is an instrument after all, and also I'm not a pro carver. Then onto the nose, and the most important part, the eye of the tiger, I mean wolf. Now, I only need to drill the control holes, 3 small ones for 3-way toggle switches for reversing polarity, and 4 for pots, 3 volume and 1 tone. Alright, now it's time to assemble. This is how the pickups go in. Then the bridge, with a lot of screwing around. And then I can put on the drum springs, which are far too tense. Here I'm marking up a washer for mounting the jack socket. Then soldering, first putting together the correct wires for the humbuckers according to the manual, which I'm thinking now could also have got some switches, but there would be too many switches. I'm soldering up the switches, which get a red and a black wire each on the middle contacts, and then 2 loops of wire connecting the outside contacts in an X shape. Then I'm just going to test assemble the entire thing to make sure it's going to work. As you can see, the strings pull the nut out of straight, so I had to fix that. Then I can finish. I'm giving the entire guitar a coat of salad oil, as that happened to be what I had available to me, and it works quite well on things such as cutting boards. And look at that finish, though you might have to apply more than one coat after letting it sit for a couple of days. Make sure to wipe it off any plastic parts. I should really have taken the pickups out, but at this point I had already soldered it all up and I wasn't going to take it out again. Okay, it's time to look at the final result. Some test sounds. I didn't really get to practice very much in the last month, as I had to finish this build, but here are a couple of chords with different pickup combinations. So, in conclusion, I still have to fix the fretboard, the pickups need to get shimmed up, custom turned knobs for the pods are under construction, as well as custom strap buttons. The screw in the headstock is also going to be replaced by a turn solution, and there's still a big plate of aluminium waiting for the right blades to be cut into covers for the electronics and tremor springs. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. There will probably be some more detailed videos on some of the aspects of this build in the future. Right now, it's time to see how this voting is going to go. Till then, thanks for watching and see you next time.